Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, just posting this hopefully short video. Today is Thursday the 16th of April 2026. 20 years ago yesterday, on the 15th of April, Doctor Who Series 2 began with New Earth, which, I'm going to get that out of the way, isn't the best series opener. In fact, it's one of the weaker ones, even if just talking about the New Who. Well, especially if we're talking about New Who, but even if talking overall, but still alright, but not, not as good as, say, Smith and Jones, Partners in Crime, Rose, or it's even The 11th Hour, and many others before and after. For you classic fans, Remembrance of the Daleks in Battlefield for the previous two series. So we got three before, three after series. Anyway, but yeah, Series 2 started its yesterday, 20 years ago. And Series 2, for me, whilst it's not one of my favourites, in my 39 season ranking in 2023, I ranked it 15th, I believe, or 14th or 15th. Maybe 14th, I'm not quite sure, but it's one of those two, so it's just outside the bottom half. Bottom third, although now with series 14 and 15 out, 14th place might be now where that third is. So if it was 14th, it's now in the top third. For the record, series 14 and 15 would be like maybe around the half. Well, 15 is just above the halfway. 14 might be around that point as well. Maybe I'll do a video in May where I'd say updated ranking as it is now, sort of thing, and say where those two come. But out of seasons 1 to 39, that's up to Flux. This one was 14th or 15th, and in my personal one, but of New Who only, it would be number 6. So only no, not number 6, sorry, 5th. Although series 10 is also, which would come number 6. I think I rated that 17th or 18th overall. So, and would still be 17th, 18th overall to today. So, yeah, so it's top 5 of New Who. The only one that's not, the lowest of the RTD1 seasons. The only one that from afterwards that I would put above it is series 5, which would be the next one on the list for New Who. But series 10 would be the next one after on that list of New Who. But anyway, not going to talk about that now. I'm just saying, getting those points out of the way. But series 2, even though it's my least favourite of the RTD1 series, is 5th of New Who series and 14th or 15th overall, even to this day, after 2 more seasons. And series 15 was like it was going to possibly join RTD1 seasons and series 5 and up there, but then last couple of episodes, no, didn't quite reach that high. Safe to say. But anyway, what's more important with series 2 that I wanted to mention here after watching Harbour Holmes' video, which came out at 6 o'clock. I'm recording this at 7:11 now. PM, 6 PM, and I'm recording this at 11 past 7 PM. And yeah, I didn't mention, didn't do this video yesterday. I should have, but I didn't. Or I should have done a post on socials. But series 2 for me was my first series, or at least episode 7 onwards, Idiot's Lantern. I did see, I've mentioned this several times both here and on Universals, that Rose and End of the World, I did see at least a scene of those, so maybe watch more of them, but I remember Mickey being swallowed by the bin, and Raffaella, the janitor character, being talking to Rose and then being taken by the spiders in the ventilation shaft. And I believe I also watched Christmas Invasion as well. But series 2 was when I actually started watching properly with the Idiot's Lantern. I think the first episode I remember watching start to finish was Satan Pit. But I think I came in during Idiot's Lantern and stuck around. I think I might have missed the first couple of minutes, and similarly Impossible Planet, maybe the first 1 or 2 minutes. Maybe we started a little bit later, or started watching a minute or two later, and it always feels a little bit weird watching the first couple minutes of those episodes, even though I would have still started watching from earlier on, or we started watching earlier on. Same for Fear Her, we probably missed the first couple minutes, but then early on start watching. And I actually also remember coming down on the day before Army of Ghosts, the Friday, and coming about halfway through the episode being repeated on BBC Three for that one. But yeah, Idiot's Lantern was officially the first episode I started watching the series with, aside from bits of Rose Under the World Christmas Invasion, maybe some of the others from series 1 and 2, part 1, that I don't remember. I know we watched a repeat of Gun in the Fireplace in the summer that we recorded, so we went on holiday, but I'll get back to repeats later because that's also quite important. But series 2 started with the Idiot's Lantern, so that episode always still, even though I don't think it's that great, I think it's good. I gave it a 7 out of 10 in my reviews, both in 2016 for the Universals originally, and then I redid that review because the video got deleted by some jerk in 2018. So I just some of those videos I redid, and that one I did that in 2020 when I was going through my reviews on Retro Channel up to the end of Matt Smith's era, and then this channel for Peter Capaldi onwards, because I started this channel 2015, but started reviews 16. So everything from 15-16 was going here, and I thought I'd include Series 8 as well, and Last Christmas for completion reasons. Plus a couple of films I saw at the cinema from previous years as well. But yeah, I haven't reviewed everything from those times yet. But yeah, everything up to end of Matt Smith would go on Retro Channel, apart from maybe a few newer stuff like the animations, and some stuff would go on Universal. Some stuff would be reviews I did on Hoons that were remakes of older videos, and those would take the place of what was being reviewed at the time. Sometimes I'd do reviews one on one channel, one on the other at separate points, like Attack of the Cybermen. But yeah, anyway, Idiot's Lantern was always an episode that's still good for me, still like it, even though I see the flaws, I understand the flaws, and I even critique it reasonably well. But I still think it's good, besides maybe some angles that haven't been very well, like the whole family domestic thing wasn't really, at least at the very end, wasn't handled very well. But yeah, but still, I like the episode. I know it's not a hugely popular episode, but I like it. Next two episodes are, of course, probably two of the most popular episodes. I think they're now, maybe even more so than Gun in the Fireplace and School Reunion, now the most popular two episodes, and that's the Impossible Planet and Satan Pitch. And yeah, like by that point, I was hooked. Like 2-3 episodes in, I'm like, yeah, like I really like this show. I think this is great. This is absolutely great, and yeah, continued to watch it. Love and Monsters, I believe, is the first time I cried at a piece of fiction, to my knowledge. At the very least, film and TV. Definitely for TV. I do not think I cried because Doctor Who, like my big childhood fandoms, let's say, was Thomas and Friends, Thunderbirds, and Doctor Who in childhood, and other stuff around the time, and other stuff later down the line, of course. Like, you know, it's I find it difficult for me to not get into the fandom. Actually, very recently, I've kind of gone on a bit of a Mario kick after the Super Mario Galaxy movie, even though I think that's just a good film. I got some nitpicks with it, but then I watched some comic fan dubs, and like, okay, I really like the characters in the universe now, as opposed to enjoy, like, and the movies are very fun. I haven't seen the live action one yet, but I heard that's bad. So, but the two animated movies from this year and from 2023, they're really fun. Got some nitpicks with them, but they're pretty good. Again, like Idiot's Lantern, they're pretty good. Maybe even more good if maybe some like niggles ironed out. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Doctor Who Series 2. And yeah, Doctor Who Series, like, my main fandom was Thomas for quite some time. Thunderbirds came along as well. That one I got it because we watched the videotapes of the older episodes recorded from the BBC Two repeats. So interesting to BBC Two and not ITV that they were repeated on in the 90s, but watched those on the videos and of course the movie. And yeah, so Thunderbirds was the big fandom at that point in time, just above Thomas. And then Doctor Who comes in and sweeps everything underneath it. um, and continues to still be my top fandom. James Bond, as you can see, probably coming in second at present. But anyway, yeah, but I'm kind of into a lot more stuff as well now across the various age ranges, like going as young, young kid stuff, maybe even like stuff that's aimed at very little kids, or at the very least the general kids age, all the way up to extreme adult stuff, beyond even the 18 rated stuff, like maybe going into, well, maybe not quite that far, but certainly going into the adult area, the strictly for adult area. So I suppose general audience stuff is definitely the best. So, but yeah, going from like into stuff that can still like not necessarily terribly young, but definitely like young-ish, all the way to not terribly extreme adult, but definitely kind of into the adult range. So like, you know, it's a spectrum, it's a big spectrum of like being into stuff, mostly in that kind of general range, naturally. But yeah, Doctor Who 2006 became my biggest fandom with just 6 episodes. As I said, it started as episode 7. In terms of the 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 7 episodes, sorry, with 7 episodes, 7 to 13. And as I said, Love and Monsters was probably the first time I cried during at least a TV series, probably also visual media, maybe even general, possibly a piece of fiction. And Doomsday would be the second, as far as I'm aware, by the way. I don't think I was immune to the Doomsday ending emotion. I think I cried there as well, but Love and Monsters got there first, with the Elton's mother truth reveal about that scene towards the end of the episode. So that got me, and then Rose's departure got me. I was 7. Yeah, I was 7. I turned 7, I think the day after Age of Steel aired. So, yeah, I started when I was 7. I would have seen bits when I was 5 and 6, but I was 7 when these episodes aired, and yeah, so 7-year-old me would have been made an impression. But yeah, I mean, I have been emotional since. Have cried since recently. Today I went to see the Magical Faraway Tree, and there's a scene towards the end of that film that did make me quite emotional towards the end because of a sort of a connection between two characters who haven't seen each other for a very long time, and one of them is watching the other one from afar, but they can't talk to them for reasons that's well, not really explained, but you could kind of get in that film. Like that character can't be seen by the other person now, but they used to be close to each other back in the day, back when the other person was a child. That scene there with Moonface, I should say, Moonface and Tim, and Moonface is looking on, and that's an emotional scene there. So even as of now, as of a couple of hours ago, that was like just after 4 o'clock for me, or just before 4 o'clock. So, but like just as late as 3 hours ago, just over 3 hours ago, I even had an emotional experience watching a piece of visual media. So I can probably, I mean, depends how I felt with episodes of Thomas, Thunderbirds, and other shows that I was watching at the time. But yeah, definitely Love and Monsters and Doomsday left an impact. Yeah, and this was an absolute brilliant series, and I also got Doctor Who Adventures magazine. My dad got issue 10 of that one time, and then starting from issue 12 up until a couple of issues before it kind of had a soft reboot in 2013, I was reading that. I was getting that magazine non-stop. I would get well, not non-stop, but yeah, I would get one issue of the main Doctor Who magazine in '07 and one in '09, specifically one with the 200 episodes ranking list. No, it wasn't. It was the one that had the vote that score the episodes list. Sorry, it's the one with the scoring, not the ranking itself. And then starting from the one for Vampires of Venice was when I started collecting Doctor Who magazine. But yeah, Doctor Who Adventures got there first, naturally, for a 7-year-old. That is age target demographic perfect. So issue 10, and then from issue 12 up until a couple of issues before its soft reboot, because the figurine magazine, you probably see my figures in other videos, the figurine magazine started up around then, and I couldn't have 3 magazines every month, well, every 1, 2, or 4 weeks. So I had to lose one, and decided Doctor Who Adventures, because I was 13, 14. So moving out of that, and I didn't think it was quite as good as it used to be. Anyway, nothing against them. Nothing against the Doctor Who Adventures team. They did fantastic work every year. I just think I was probably growing out of it, and I didn't think it was quite as good in 2013 as it had in, say, maybe 2010. And certainly not during like a couple of years before. But again, brilliant work by the teams who have done Doctor Who Adventures over the years. Yeah, that was probably just about me growing out of that type of the magazine and growing into DWM and the figurine collections. Well, at least I didn't ask to get Battles in Time. Well, actually, I did have one Battles in Time, number 6. But yeah, but at least I wasn't collecting that one as well. I did get Monster. Actually, no, I did get Doctor Monster Invasion as well. I did have that, but I think maybe because that was probably a bit cheap, because the figurines are more expensive than trading cards, or free gifts, or Doctor Who magazine's case, the occasional free gift, but otherwise not off. Like now and again, they'll do a free gift like a poster or a CD or DVD, or prints or something, but it won't be every issue like DWA or like the cards magazine, the ones that come with cards or the figures. This short video is now gone a bit longer. I do apologize. Lots of tangents, but yeah. So I was getting, they've got the magazines for that, and I was probably getting toys and merch as well. Bit late for birthday, but as the summer, and certainly at Christmas, I would say. Probably by Christmas at least. But yeah, getting into it. And then autumn 2006, autumn term. Was that year 3 at primary school for me? 7 to 8 years old, I think so. I know I was in year 6 in 2009 to 10. 8 to 9 would be year 5. 7 to 8 would be year 4. Yeah, year 3 at primary school then. Started that, and around when we started that in the autumn, series 1 and 2 were being repeated on BBC 3, and so I basically caught up with it before Runaway Bride came along, thanks to BBC 3's repeats, and I got to watch every episode of series 1, so I got to experience the 9th Doctor in full. Technically he was the first Doctor. His episodes were the first I'd seen, but 10 was the one that got me into the show, with his technically 8th episode, not including Parting of the Ways and the Children Need Minister, so Born Again. But of the main episodes, Idiot's Lantern is technically his 8th individual episode. So from that one, and I think we did maybe have seen Gun in the Fireplace on a summer repeat, but and also a friend watched an episode of series 1 one time when we were coming over. I was actually more interested in playing with the figures at that time, instead of watching that. Probably because I knew we were rewatching them in order on BBC 3, so we'd get to that. And funny enough, the episode that aired later that night was the episode before. It was Father's Day they were watching, and we watched Long Game that night. And then the trainer was like, "Oh, hey, that was the episode they were watching. They had put on earlier." So we would watch that the next day on BBC 3. So that was weekday repeats. each night for a couple of weeks, those 27 episodes from Rose to Doomsday. Uh, 27 because 213s and Christmas special. So caught up. Also, around the same time, one of the UK TV channels, I think it's either Gold or what is now W, what was called Watch, repeated a couple of Tom Baker stories from seasons 13 and 14, including Sarah Jane Smith's stories, like The Face of Evil, where like we had no Sarah Jane came back in series 2. We saw the repeats on BBC 3 in the September. I think I saw some of those season 13 and 14 stories in October, and also Face of Evil is another one. Did I say Face of Evil just now? Planet of Evil for the Sarah Jane one. I remember seeing, and then Face of Evil at the Face of Evil. So those two are definitely two I saw back in the day. It took me much longer to get around to seeing them on DVD, especially Planet of Evil was one of the last ones, along with the Myths and Legends box set, and also Enemy of the World Special Edition, but I got the standard one, the original Enemy of the World DVD before then. So Planet of Evil was one of my last DVDs of the classic series, pre Macra Terror animations onwards. I think like Shardas was out by then, but pre Macra Terror, it was it was one of the last classic DVDs to get. So that was a massive almost 12 years. I think it was birthday 2018. So I achieved the goal of getting all of them by the time I was 18, but I got all of them by the time I was 19. Or on 19th birthday at least. So about nearly 12 years since it broadcast on UK TV, whichever channel it was, probably Gold, to getting the DVD of it. Oh well. Maybe 18 and a half years, not 18, 11 and a half years, shall we say. And a bit more than a half, but you know what I mean. Yeah, and then Runaway Bride came along Christmas, and I think, whilst I think Series 3, when that one started, I was like, even though I had watched 7 episodes on broadcast and then caught up the rest on repeats and seen a couple of classic Who's on repeat, I was big into the series. And this was before even trying to venture back to Classic Who to watch even more of those. Saw a couple more of those episodes after Series 3's finale, broadcast in a weekend on one of those UK TV channels, showing episodes from all of the 10 Doctors. And I remember an episode of The Chase, at least the ending of Caves of Androzani, and both Attack of the Cybermen and 2 Doctors. Plus, also they even had the Series 3 finale, even though that just aired like a couple of weeks before on BBC One. So they got that really quickly for that weekend, because I think that was July or August they did that. And Series 3 finale, the last day of June, the final episode aired. So I think they got in really quickly with the repeats for that. So it was great to see. And Time Monster, I forgot. I also saw the Time Monster that weekend as well, or at the very least the second to last episode, I believe, episode 5. Maybe the last one as well. I don't remember every single one I saw, but I definitely remember seeing The Chase Part 5 at least twice. Time Monster episode 5, Caves of Androzani episode 4 because of the regeneration, and I think both parts of Attack of the Cybermen, and definitely I think 2 Doctors, or most of it anyway, and then I think maybe bits of the Series 1 and 3 finales, or at the very least adverts for them. But yeah, so Series 2, specifically the second half, after Age of Steel, so It Eats Lantern onwards, I hold quite special place. Even though some of those episodes aren't great, I'm looking at you, Fear Her, I still hold a special place in the second half of the series, because that changed my life, and it's became my favorite piece of media, and it still remains my favorite piece of media and fiction to this day. And I've experienced more ever since. Of course, there's so much more aside from that, even at the time, but naturally I would gradually watch more episodes from before of the new series, and then some classics, and then the classic series, I'd get to more of those later, more so in 2010 when I started getting the DVDs. But by that point, I was old enough. I was old enough to probably appreciate the older stuff, because younger viewers may not appreciate older content. These days, it's probably harder to get them into it. But I think by 2010, specifically by just in the lead up to Christmas Carol, um, I think I was 11, so I was probably in the right mindset. I was already a big fan. Really liked Series 5, so I had the change had from David Tennant to Matt Smith, had gone through that and seen how it gone, and was very happy with Matt Smith as the 11th Doctor. So that was probably about the right time for me to jump into Classic 2, more so in 2011, but started in 2010. Also want to mention I was probably about the right age for the Sarah Jane Adventures when that started in 2007, and yes, that's probably also what helped. That helped. Well, to be honest, even if didn't have the Sarah Jane Adventures, I think I would be massive into the show anyway. But I think the Sarah Jane Adventures added that extra bit, or like filled in the void later on in the year when Doctor Who wasn't on, and say in 2009 when it wasn't on at all, and aside from a couple of specials, and Torchwood was also only just a couple of episodes in the middle of the year. Sarah Jane filled that void for a bit until 2011, sadly. As for Torchwood, I did actually cheekily, at the age of 8, did watch a couple of episodes of Series 2, but being that young, the more adult content maybe have passed me by, aside from, obviously, character deaths and certain storylines. Didn't see every single episode. I think I saw episodes 2 through 12 except 5. I think we missed 5. But I think the rest, aside from the first and the last ones, I saw. And I was told about Owen and Tosh's death later. But yeah, as I was 8, I really shouldn't have been checking out, but I guess because some of the more adult content flew over my head, I was okay. And then I was 10 for Series 3, and I did watch that. Amazingly, all 5 parts of that at the time. Not Series 4, I didn't watch anything from that until 2020. Same with Series 1. And the episodes I missed from Series 2 also 2020 for the first time, after they all came to iPlayer, and I went through the whole series. And I will have to do that again if I want to review them, which I'm considering sometime this year. I'm considering maybe for the 20th anniversary, maybe I'll do the Class Revisitation reviews first for its 10th anniversary. They started around a similar time, 10 years apart. And then Sarah Jane will follow, as well as May, the K9 series, but no promises. Can't guarantee anything. I haven't even done War Between Land and Sea yet. I haven't even done a reaction video on that. I do apologise. Anyway, but yeah, rounding off this video, because it is actually getting long. But yeah, Doctor Who Series 2, still a very special part. It's changed everything, basically. Became my favourite show, favourite piece of media, and like really into it with just 7 episodes. And it proves, like, even the bad episodes, that if done well, you can get people hooked. Even with episodes like Fear Her in the mix, and I know a lot of people dog on Idiot's Lantern and Love and Monsters as well. Fair enough, to be honest. I can't blame them for those. But yeah, the series changed. This half of the series changed my life, and all for the better. And I feel very grateful for it. So, in honor of 20 years and 1 day of the first episode airing, happy 20th anniversary Doctor Who Series 2. Of course, it'll be the 20th anniversary of Idiot's Lantern, where I'll be officially marking 20 years of being a Doctor Who fan when we come to that on the 27th of May, which is going to be a Wednesday. That's actually going to be 2 days after the TV movie 4K restoration comes out, and I don't think there's anything special planned for the 27th, so maybe we'll do something about that. Maybe do something then. Who knows? But yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Allons-y.